Your authenticity is your cultural currency. The minute your audience can no longer see your original pursuit, and every company's a bit different, is the day they kind of leave you and go engage and partner with someone else.
Y'all know we love Nike. Nike, what's up? A little small sponsorship would be dope, but
yeah, certainly.
Neither here nor there. Nike had a really amazing guy named Greg Hoffman, who used to work everything marketing. I don't want to mess up his exact title, but he was a big deal and a marketing genius for Nike. And he was on a recent podcast. I think it's like the Diary of a CEO. And he said something about authenticity for a brand that was so fired. I tweeted it out. So shout out to those people who follow us on Twitter. And so you know where I'm going with this. But let's just play the clip.
I always use that mantra, don't chase cool, because most likely you're not going to catch it. And that idea that your authenticity is your cultural currency. The minute your audience can no longer see your original pursuit, and every company's a bit different, is the day they kind of leave you and go engage and partner with someone else. It's belief, it's mission, it's vision, it's values. You know, where are you going? How are you going to get there? What do you believe? What's your promise to your audience? And what are the characteristics and traits that compose your brand in that pursuit to deliver inspiration and innovation to everyone?
What a word. What a word.
Let me start this one off, because this one has hit me for a few days. Okay?
Really?
A few days. The fact that I tweeted it, meaning it hit me. I don't really tweet too much, but when I do, it's because something really got to me. And I think it was definitely that authenticity is like cultural currency. And I think with the way the world and society is, that couldn't be so truer, regardless if you are a personal brand, regardless if you're a Nike, an Adidas, or whatever, because authenticity keeps us connected with you. And I love how he said, once that goes away, there's a disconnect. We're going to search for another one that is, we can feel like we can connect with. We can feel like there's something in it for us as well. We tend to just look at the products and services and what we have to offer too much and put too much bank on that, where sometimes it's just about being transparent. Sometimes it's about being just real, whether it's about our environment, our backgrounds, our culture, our viewpoints. Like literally people follow and buy from brands based off what they say and do and who they really are. If you don't believe in anything, it's you feel hollow. You're like a hollow brand. You don't have substance. There's nothing you really stand on. There's nothing about you we can really rock with. So the more authentic you are, the more you have validation, the more you have acceptance in culture. And I think that's so valuable because we hear authenticity very often. We've spoken about it on the podcast so many times, right? And now we're hearing it from a standpoint of making it equal to currency. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hold on, wait, what does that mean? Wait, so like we're actually valued more because we're authentic? Like, because I can be who I am and you're saying that my value goes up? Absolutely. Because it's rare. Because we expect you to sell the product and the services in a certain kind of way and only focus on that. But what about the value it brings to your customers? What about the beliefs that it holds? What about the ethic that it has around it? Like, what about all these things that we tend to just pass by it? And then we're wondering why we're not having customers swipe their cards, or customers going to our events, and even from a smaller standpoint of sharing our content and clicking on our websites. Why aren't people doing these things? You almost have to tap in and be like, well, am I really showing who I really am? Am I really showing what this brand is really about? So the fact that he's saying authenticity is what's bringing cultural currency, I was like, love it.
Yeah, that's a good word. Because it's like when I think about what are the things that I'm into or the things that I enjoy, it's something that captivates not just my attention, but it captivates my heart, right? Like there is meaning to it. It's like, yo, there's a soul tie, there's a connection there. So anything but authenticity is hollow. Like it may look nice on the outside, it may have an appeal, but I think it's one of those things where its enjoyment doesn't last long. You get it for a little bit, but it doesn't last. Like it just wears off really fast. So I like that approach where it's almost not an exchange, but a way that you can monetize or have some form of value, like being built up just for bringing that to the table. Like that can be looked at as value, and you can get value. The part that I also want to bring attention to as well, because I think you spoke to the authenticity piece so dope, is the parts of the traits, the characteristics, those definitions and principles that he talked about to make up a phenomenal company and brand. Mm-hmm. Like that's important too, right? Like that part is something that a lot of us need to think about beyond our marketing and beyond our content and beyond what we're going to tell people. What is the essence of what we believe? Those are like those corny, cheesy little conversations that people sometimes overlook and say, oh, that's just something that you put on the wall that looks as a wannabe motivational mission statement or core value. But in actuality, great companies, they not only have those things defined, they also live them out. They're really intentional about living out certain things. So one of the brands or companies, of course, that comes to mind is Tom's, the shoe company, right? For every pair they sell, they donate a pair. I don't know if they're as popular today, but I know for a time that was something that almost brought them more money because they stayed true to something that they believed in, which is, hey, let's make sure people in need have shoes on their feet. Right. So that's definitely a second part of that I think everyone should pay attention to. If you don't have a greater mission behind your company, your brand, or your business, create one. If you don't have certain stories or people that you really want to captivate and serve, sit down and think about them. Like, what's that thing that drives you so that you can have a greater reason for why you're doing all of this? Because at the end of the day, if you're just doing the work to do the work, it's going to run out. Like, I'll tell you a quick story today, and this will be the last thing. When I got on a little late, I was at a store with a friend of mine, and we waited forever to get to the cashier to check out. So finally we get to the line, and he's like feeling extra friendly and bubbly today. And he says to the lady at the register, like, how was your day? She's like, oh, really good. Thank you so much for asking. It's been this busy all day, right? And like the line was crazy. And then she says, but I like it this way. It makes time pass by faster.
Facts.
And then I was like, yo, is that broken thinking? Like, if you think about it, time is our greatest commodity. Why are we trying to make something that is of the most important to us in our life pass by so fast? Is it because we're doing something that is not meaningful to us? Like, we've accepted to do things that are not meaningful to us, so we're trying to just rush through that phase to get to a little bit of whatever is left? I don't know. It just fascinated me today. And I was like, yo, that shows you the importance of why we need to build things that we believe in and really be intentional with what we're devoting our time to. So we never have to spend a day working on our brand, our business, and then say, oh yeah, I like it this way. It just makes time pass by faster. Like, I don't know if I want to just I want to enjoy it. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to soak it up. So I don't know, that just for some reason registered with me differently. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how I want to pass my time. Like, I want my time to stay on forever.
Yeah, I mean that goes with you're not really in the place that you want to be anyway. So you're trying to speed up that time in order to get to where you really want to go. Which
Right.
maybe for that person it was home, you know.
Right.
And I don't know what happens over at home. Maybe she works on what she really wants, and maybe she works on a passion there, or she just rests, you know. But I actually have a question where when he was talking about, you know, the values and the beliefs and everything of a brand, how important is it for everyone on the team to understand it? Right? Because in that interview, he spoke on that and was like, you know, that's something that get brushed upon like quickly, right? And so not everybody on the team may understand those things. And you stated earlier, you know, some people have it on the walls and things like that. But how important is it for teams to have that, like,
It's
understanding?
cool. Yeah, it's cool if they have the understanding, but I realize most people won't understand it until they actually see it as part of your operations. So in certain businesses that I'm a part of, we reward behaviors we want to see. So if we have a value or we believe in, say, quality service, then, or say, treat everyone equally or fairly, then we're going to highlight the individual who's treating people with quality service and treating everyone equally. We're going to reward them for that behavior. We're going to speak to it as this is why it's important and this is why we're highlighting it, because it's one of the things that we believe in. So I find that if you just say it, or if you just make it a point for everyone to understand it, some people may get it, some people may not. And the reason why everyone is not going to get it, because we're all moved by different things. But the minute that your team starts to see that you act out on your beliefs, the things that you say matter to you, they're a part of your operations, they're a part of your daily practice, they're a part of your decision-making process. They guide you toward what decisions you make and what you don't make. Everyone says, oh, we want impact over income. Everyone says that. There are two words that start with an I, they rhyme, it sounds real cool and fun. Right. But how many people actually do that? Very few. So I think that it's cool if they have the understanding. They're going to learn when they see you acting out, like when you carry out those beliefs and really live them out loud.
That makes sense. I'm with you.